Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. My name is Brad. Today's video is going to be showing you how I made a plate. One of 10 actually. It's for one of the paying customers that I have, and the job is 12 inch by 12 inch by ½ inch Lexan plates, and real simple kind of a design. There's a hole in each corner, and then there's a big 8 1/8 inch hole that needs to be cut out. So what I did was I made a custom plate. It's an aluminum plate with a fence. Pretty simple procedure. I didn't film any of that. And I ground a trepanning tool. So I made a custom boring bar and punched out a hole with a square broach. Again, I didn't film any of that stuff. But I just wanted to show really the trepanning tool and the actual cutting out of the hole, and I explain a little bit about the plate that I made and everything like that. So this was something I kind of wanted to film after the fact, after I started the job. But it's a mess down here with plastic shavings everywhere, and I'm going to put together a quick little video for you guys to see what the job looks like. So let's check it out. To make the plate, I began by milling one side, flipping it 90 degrees, squaring it up, and then milling the other side. So now I have a 90-degree corner that's square. Then I made two fences and drilled and tapped holes and bolted them to each side of the plate. This will allow the Lexan plates to locate the same place every time. And then finally I put some strips of hockey tape down. What this does is provide some protection so the plates won't get scratched, and because it's tacky, when you hold the plate down it kind of stays put. So the next thing I needed to do was drill a clearance hole. So using a test piece, I put it on the plate, drilled through and cleaned through the plate, and that gave me the clearance that I needed. Now these holes are located 3/4 of an inch off of each side, and this is the same in each corner. Now initially when I got this stock, I brought it to a friend's machine shop, and using a very large CNC, he milled the stock to spec, and he got it perfect. I mean, these things are 12 inches exact to the thousandth. So that allowed me to drill each corner just by rotating it. I would drill it and just rotate into the next corner, drill it, and so on. And they came out well within the tolerance. Now it's time to make a custom boring bar. Real simple. It's going to have a square hole broached in one side to accept a 1/4 inch high-speed steel tool, and I just basically drilled and tapped one end to use a set screw to lock the tool in place. And here you could see, using a bench block and a square broach, we used the hydraulic shop press and punched the hole through. It came out real good. The tool is held securely in the bar and it fits in the boring head perfect. So now comes the fun part, grinding a tool. So I did a little bit of research on trepanning tools and kept seeing pictures of a company called Valcut. So I looked at as many pictures as I could and I studied it. And after agonizing over it for a little bit, I figured the best thing to do was to just jump in and go for it. So I laid it out, scribed some lines, and got to grinding. So I was pretty happy with the results. The tool had enough clearance on each side, and then finally I grabbed a carborundum stone and gave it a nice honed edge on all the cutting surfaces. And I think it came out pretty good. Now, a little hard to tell, but all 4 holes are now drilled in each piece. So now it's time to set up the countersink. And my initial results were pretty poor, as you could see. I think my speed was a little bit fast, and what I was doing was melting the plastic, and it just pasted it all in. Then after talking to my friend Phil Monday, he gave me some pointers on speeds and feeds, and we got this finish. As you can see, it's much better. It's nice and smooth, it's clean, and it has no grizzle left behind. Okay, 10 pieces done. Now the next step is to drill 2 holes that will actually bolt down the centerpiece that's to be removed. So I've gone and done that with all 10 pieces, and now what you're seeing here is the piece ready to be cut. So this is it. This is for real this time. So what I needed to do was bolt down the center portion that's going to be cut out, and I also needed to secure down the square portion of the plate. So you'll see that I used 2 vice grip clamps up in the front, and I bolted the right rear corner down as well in the back. So now nothing is going to move. The centerpiece won't move, and the remaining portion won't move. That will ensure a clean cut and prevent anything from moving around. Alright, now you can see we're ready to go, and I'm just making sure that everything is secure before we start actually cutting. Alright, touchdown. I started to cut down, and I got to the bottom, and the cutter started to dig into the hockey tape. And as you can see, it contaminated the sidewalls of the cut. So I needed to stop the cutter, take the plate off, and remove that hockey tape. Yikes, look at that finish. Pretty terrible. A lot of chatter, it's pretty rough. So my plan is to just rough out all the remaining holes and then sneak up on it taking a finishing cut. And here you can see the little plug that's left behind when the cut is finished. So right around this time, I thought maybe I should start filming this. So I set up a camera and I filmed the remaining steps that it takes to finish one of these plates. So what's to come is that video footage. So I hope you like it. Alright, so a little bit about what we're going to do here. This is 1/2-inch Lexan. We drilled 4 261,000th clearance holes. It's a clearance hole for a 1/4 bolt. Countersunk them down, and I drilled 2 holes on each piece that align with two bolt down holes right here on our plate. This is a 12 by 12 plate. It's 1/2-inch thick aluminum. I milled some slots in it to bolt it down to the table. I have a through hole right here in the corner, and this is really my datum, and I have it flipped backwards right now. But for drilling the holes, each hole needs to be 3/4 of an inch off of each corner, basically. So in order to do that, the print shows one datum, and then you pull from each one. But because I got this stock milled from a friend's shop, it's perfect. It's right to the 1,000th of an inch, 12 by 12. It was done on a really big professional grade CNC. So I was able to basically, I had this plate rotated, so the fence was up here, and I just located each corner, drilled the hole, rotated it, drilled, rotate, drilled, and each hole is within tolerance. So then I moved with the DRO to I think it was 8 inches and 4 inches or something. Yeah, it was 2 inches shy of 6 and 2 plus 6 on each side, and drilled and tapped these holes. These are basically holes to bolt the center down, so when I cut my hole out, this doesn't wobble around and everything. So it was a bit of a fly by the seat of your pants operation. If I get more of these plates to make for the customer, I will definitely recreate this plate, and I have a laundry list of improvements already that I want to make. So we're using a boring head, Criterion boring head. I made this boring bar. I punched a square hole with a square broach and ground this trepanning tool here, and I'll show you some pictures, some close-ups of that afterwards, but just wanted to show you the operation. So we basically very carefully put this on here, and I have to bolt each piece down, if you will, the piece that remains and the center piece. So I only have one bolt back here as my hold down, a screw, a drilled and tapped hole. These 2 guys right here, initially when I was making the plate, I made through holes, already clear, bigger than what I need, through holes. and the idea was to, to move around the whole mill, drilling each hole and having clearance. But because the pieces came back so good, I was able to just use this one corner as my drilling point. Believe me, it cut down on the time of moving this DRO 12 inches each direction 4 times each piece. So we got that part bolted down, and what I'm using is these little pieces of PEEK and these flat, pony clamps. They work great. The bottom can be marred because it's just the plate, and this just holds this down and prevents it from shifting. And then these guys right here will just bolt the middle section down. Now, I agonized over this for quite a long time. Do I use the rotary table? Do I trepan it? Blah, 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 blah. So many different ways. So trepanning was the way I decided on. And what I'm doing right here now is I'm cutting this a 1/16 of an inch shy, because there's a lot of buildup, a lot of melted plastic that gets caught up in this groove, and I'm, like I said, I'm roughing it out, and then I'm going to use this at a slightly faster speed, I'll fresh hone the tool, and I'll take that extra 1/16 inch off to clean it. So we got it in back gear. We're running at about 310 on the RPM. Lexan has, looking it up, Lexan has between a 600 and 700 cutting speed. So I put it at 650. The diameter of the hole, 8 inches. You do the math, it comes down to about 310 RPMs. So we got this puppy in back gear. I got my stop set, and here we go. It's going to be loud. I will tell you that. It's not a pleasant operation. That's it. Come on. A lot of steps for each piece to do. But it's working, and I guess that's all that counts, right? You got to be careful. You don't want to hit the tool. And there you go. The finish is so-so on here. It starts off nice, and then the second half it gets real chattery. So that's the reason why we're going to take that off in a finishing cut. So there you have it. All right, it's time to clean up the edges now. I ran a test piece, and I found out that my tool didn't have enough clearance. I set it to 8 1/8, and the wall was kind of, let's see if I could show you. The wall was kind of slanted in, so it was kind of like making like a cone. And that was due to the tool clearance on this side here. This side was rubbing a little bit, and the way it was going in, and it was just pushing, and it was just making the tool bend in as it went in, and it cut like a taper. So I ground some more clearance into it. I ran a test piece now. It's cutting nice and straight. So here we go. Okay, here we go. So I'm just feeding down with the hand wheel, nice and easy. got all these. It's like insulation. Now the finish is so-so. Honestly, I probably could, I don't know, maybe I'll go in and take like another 1,000th or something. I have a bit of a tolerance here. My first test piece, I don't know if you could see it, has more of like a glassy finish. You could see that, see? So, yeah. Basically sneaking up on this. So that's really what the process will be. We'll get these all, we'll get them almost to size, and then we'll take that last finishing cut. Alright, so now I'm taking my last series of cuts. I thought that one finishing cut would do, but with this plastic and I guess with this type of tool, it's just better to sneak up on it. I got it almost to 8 1/8, maybe left about 0.10 or so shy, but this is the finish I'm getting now, and it's beautiful. I hope the camera will get that. I'll move it in as close as possible, but I don't think it will focus on it. But that's a nice finish, and it's literally to the 1,000th. So says my Starrett, what do you call that thing? Yeah, that veneer. Vernier, however people pronounce it. My vernier says it's to the 1,000th, so we're happy, and I'll show you that process right now. Alright, let's try that again. Nice finishing cut on that one. Little embellishments, if I'm making these plates again and I have another order, you know, something like this might be pretty good to have like a hand actuated thing, so I'm not needing an Allen key. Not too tall though, because the chips, they go around and it could yank on it, so but these are the types of things. Oh, that's a beautiful finish. Alright, well, I got 2 or 3 more of these to go, and then and really all that's left is to just do a little bit of a little deburring of the sharp edge and send them over to get engraved for serial numbers and dates on them. I got these plates separated by paper towels, and I'm really just using good old reliable block plane here, because using tools, you know, like this, when you drag it, it has a tendency to jump and leave a poor finish. So I've been just using this on the past 8 pieces here, and I'm getting a really nice, just clean, consistent finish. So let me show you how I'm doing that. So we're just getting our pieces here, and just we do one, which kind of evens it out, and then nice and easy 2. Probably going to be really hard to pick that up, but it's working out pretty nice. I'm just holding this a little off my normal procedure here, just for the camera. So 1, 2, flip it. 1, 2. Then the other side, which we have one done already. Take some of these chips out. One. And these are very light cuts. I'm not really trying to gouge it and put a huge chamfer on it. There's no chamfer detail on the print, but it is understood that you need to remove all the sharp burrs. And then the same here for the corners. I'm just really 1, 2, and that's a nice finish there. Again, hard to see the chamfer on this plastic with the glare and all, but you're just gonna have to take my word for it. It's nice. This edge right here isn't really sharp all that much, and it's gonna have a bowl sitting in here for something. I'm not really sure what's going in here, but I'm gonna try to break this with some kind of a tool. I tried on my test pieces this Noga tool, and I was getting some chatter, and I want to keep the pieces looking nice, so I think I'm going to contact the designer of these parts and ask if it's alright to leave this like this, because it isn't really sharp. I mean, it's a nice squared edge, but it isn't all that sharp. But that's a nice looking Lexan plate. Okay, and then we just put our piece of paper towel here. Okay. Alright guys, well that's it. So we have 10 of these that we have to deliver to the customer. This was fun, and like every other job that you do, you learn quite a bit. I never ground a trepanning tool, and just learning about sneaking up on the edge here and how to get a nice edge in plastic. It was a good learning experience, and I just wanted to thank Phil Monday, who he and I were talking a little bit on the Facebook page. He gave me some pointers on speeds and feeds and whatnot for Lexan, so thank you, Phil. I really appreciate it, and until next time, thanks for watching.